Integrators. What are those? Most people I know have probably read either Rocket Fuel or have read Traction, or maybe they've read one of the other EOS series books, or come from a community that does have an avatar or something in there where they do talk about integrators. Integrator in a whole is a function in your business that you really cannot thrive or survive without. A lot of people that I speak to, like I speak to visionaries, I speak to integrators, I speak to people that don't know which seat they actually sit in. But at the end of the day, when you are formulating your business, you have to have one of each. So you have to have a visionary and you have to have an integrator in your business, especially if you want to hit to the point where you can scale. So visionaries, and I've said it a few different times at a fun conversation about it a couple weeks ago on one of these Zooms, they're going to be those people, like people think of, like if you speak to somebody who's so outlandish and has like all these ideas and things are ridiculous and you're like, man, that person's crazy. That is an ideal visionary that you would look for. You know, you want somebody that has all of that. They have some sort of direction that they can actually give the counterpart to thrive and move forward and actually build something out to obtain. So
Like
key
Jobs and
functions.
Wozniak.
So the key functions of the integration side in a whole is to align the vision with the execution, streamlining the operations within the business, leading teams, managing resources, driving accountability, which is huge. Last Zoom, we touched a little bit on what I learned from Maxwell called the hatchet committee. It's just as important for the integrator to be the accountability partner with the visionary and be able to tell them like, hey, knock that off, or that's not going to work, and things of that sort. And then problem solving is huge through each level. So oh no, one too many. The importance of having, whether it's one integrator that you're starting out with or a full integration team, are going to be four key components into that drive the success in your business. They're going to be able to turn the vision into the reality. So when you have your visionary that comes in and they have all of these wacky and grand ideas, you'll be able to spot a lot of those visionaries in the entrepreneurial world, because they'll come in, they have all these ideas, and then you won't hear from them for a while, and then they're on to something else. Because when you don't have the integration side of the business, that's all those things are. They're just ideas. So having an integrator and integration team allows you to actually be able to turn those visions, those big ideas into a reality. Operational efficiency is another huge one. The integration side of the business fully serves the success in your systems, your processes, and the dynamics of your business and the people within your business. Avoiding chaos. The integrator usually takes on the role of managing teams, maybe team members, direct reports that are under them. So they literally bridge the gap between the visionary and the rest of the business. So if you don't have anything to bridge that gap, it could be game over any day, basically. And then the trust and the alignment and the collaboration, and that goes for more than just within the teams. Um, Even within our business, we ended up cutting what we called the sales seat, and we have a business relations seat, and I still consider that on the scale of being an integrator within the business. But there are three main types, and Andrew was correct on all three. There's business, there's operational, and there's systematic. Now, when I say three levels, and I put these as high level, mid level, low level, I'm not necessarily saying that, one is more important than the other, because this does truly depend on your business, where it's at, and where you're trying to go. Some people need to start at the business level, some people need to start at the systematic, and that's perfectly fine. But when we're talking about the business level, the high level integrator, we're talking about the CEO, the COO, and we're talking about the prospective business partner that's overseeing everything. Your operational would be considered the mid level. So now this is where high level management comes in, your operations managers, your COO's direct report. Um, if let's say you're in business and you have multiple chains, that could look like somebody like your district manager would sit on that mid-tier operational integrator. Then you have systematic, which is the lower level. If you look on the hierarchical scale, those are your systems architects, automation specialists, your developers. And now with where we are with AI and a lot of systems that already have their own automations, then you start bringing people in that are more on the tech support side of it. All right. So we'll go a little bit more into a breakdown for each type. So high level, acting as the CEO's partner. They're aligning the people and the processes with the business vision. So they're bridging that gap between the ideas from the visionary to the reality of the business. But then they also guide the overall operational strategies. And I do say guide for a reason. So some people know, I've gotten to speak to some people, and like I always tell everybody, one of my idols is Andrew Cordell's Integrator. I can't see everybody's face, but I know George probably just smiled because he knows exactly the people that I'm talking about. His integrator is exactly that, kind of started from bottom level, but now is at the point with their business and their success to where rather than being in that day to day, he's just overseeing the integration teams that are in the business and just kind of serving as a guiding point and making sure that all of that is aligning with Andrew Cordell, who is, when I say visionaries are like insane and they're out there, he is the definition of somebody who is insane and out there. So we're going to go into a little bit more of a breakdown for what a business level integrator is. So the core focus of oh, sorry, Trey, I had to move the chat back. Andrew Cordell, they actually run the Aspire tour. And as I know now, they have a program as well. So a little bit more of a breakdown on the business level integrator. So again, their core focus is the strategic oversight of the entire integration sector. The traits that this person would have or that you would be looking for is somebody who is a big picture thinker who can align with vision. This is somebody who's going to have really good leadership and organization skills. And it's also somebody that's going to have really, really strong decision making and communication skills. For the key strengths, their strengths are going to be able to basically balance. So earlier I mentioned having the hatchet committee. This is where resilience really comes into play, especially for a high level integrator, because it's stressful. It can be, especially if you have somebody like Andrew Cordell that you're working with. So they've got to kind of be able to make sure that they're balancing those visionaries' idea and making sure that they can even be put into executional plans. They also create harmony between the people and the systems and the processes in your business. So When you're looking at somebody to be a business partner, a COO in your business, one of those high level integrators, that person is going to be the person that you're going to look to that's going to be setting up things like if you're using the EOS model within your business, whatever your hiring strategies are going to look like, maybe even down to the job postings and the job descriptions and conducting like first round interviews and stuff like that. This is the person that's going to be handling and managing all of that. No, I went ahead and I also tried to seek out one of the greatest potential weaknesses in these people for each level. So that way, if you are a visionary, you have some sort of understanding maybe where you can provide additional support to the person that's sitting in that role in your business. With a business level integrator, they might struggle a little bit if they get too focused on the details of bringing the vision to reality rather than kind of delegating some of that stuff out. Now, that's a whole conversation that I can spiral into when it comes to the delegate and delegate to elevate. It's not necessarily saying that this person needs to be able to like be fully hands off and kind of throw everything at the rest of the team and all of the other people. When you bring on your business integrator, they're going to hit a cap quite often. As you're coming up, as the visionaries coming up with more ideas, they're throwing more at them. The business is moving. You're starting to get into the points where you can scale. They've got to be able to take a look at where they're hitting their limits and maybe some of the things that they're doing that don't best serve their time and their abilities. And that's where they'd be able to start delegating within the team. Now, a business level integrator, at least for most of them, aren't going to understand and know that they're kind of hitting that. And they might need that visionary support. The mid level, so the operational, these are going to be people like your operations managers, your store managers, if you have multiple stores, like general managers and sorts like that. So they're going to ensure even further on the team alignment. They're going to oversee the middle management roles, which would be those managers that are under them and even the systematic integrators. And then they're going to be the ones that are a little bit more action oriented on executing. Oops, sorry, my mic just fell. Executing the processes that align with the vision between the visionary and the high level integrator. Thank you, Matt. A little bit more of a breakdown on the operational integrator. So their core focus is to ensure the operational alignment between the rest of the team and the execution of the plans that align with the visionary. Some of the traits that you're going to be looking for this person is somebody that is process oriented and team focused. That's going to be a huge key. Somebody that is really great at managing cross departments and somebody that's exceptional with collaboration. Because again, you're talking about like general managers. I come from the restaurant industry before any of this. So the operational integrator would have been that general manager who is in charge of the front of the house manager and the back of the house manager. So this person should be able to have their direct reports for multiple teams within your business. They also as well, just like the higher level integrator, need to understand and be strong with delegating. They also need to be strong with tactical execution. Key strengths are going to be them being able to identify and align people within the processes and align them with the daily goals within your business. Now, they act as a bridge to the high level integrator. So, where we are to this point, you have the visionary, you have a business-oriented integrator that bridges the gap between the visionary and the processes and systems within your business. Then you have the operational, who's now going to bridge, is going to be serve as a bridge between your business level operations, or sorry, your business level integrator and the systematic and or the other teams that you have in your business. Now, the key or the biggest weakness that an operational integrator is going to have, and a lot of people are going to see this, especially if you're in real estate and you have an operations manager or you're bringing an operations manager on. One of the things that you want to be very, very cognizant of is clarity in your business. When you start bringing on operational managers or you start having those conversations, they become very, very overwhelmed if there is no strategic clarity between them and their understanding and what the higher level integrator and the visionaries vision or understanding is of the business. And then we move into those lower level integrators. And these are going to be those people that are going to develop your systems. They're going to develop your automations. They serve the purpose of making sure that there is technical efficiency within your business. And typically they're going to end up managing a majority of the tools that you utilize. These are all going to be things that your operational integrator is going to be delegating out. So core focus. Apologize, I need a sip of water real quick. Core focus of your lower level integrator is going to be the implementation and the optimization of your systems. And this is where we're going to talk about your actual technical systems, your CRMs, anything that you're going to use to cross integrate any other software platforms that you're using. Now, the whole reason I ended up bringing this up and wanting to put this Zoom on and put these slides together, and I apologize, I'm getting a little tactical. So I know, at least for me, it's a little difficult to explain a little bit more, have stories once I hit tactical like this. But for many people, when they go and they want to look for an integrator, especially in communities that are full of people that are in real estate and already have certain ideologies that they have, they start talking to people, and this is the first type of person that they're talking to. And or on the flip side of that, they're looking for this type of integrator, but the person that responded to them and maybe applied for a position within their business or one of the other two integrators, and there's a misalignment with that. For example, I ended up going into a company and I started out on the systematic end. But when I went into the company, they had had an integrator before me. And they had the integrator, I think it was like 4 or 5 months. And it was just that. It was that initial conversation where it's like, oh, you're an integrator. I need one. Great. Here's some logins. This is what we're looking to do. And then they left it alone. So they expected a whole bunch of stuff to be built out within the business. But when they looked 4 or 5 months later, nothing was built out. It turned out that the integrator that they brought on was actually more of an operational integrator, or they were an operational integrator as opposed to a systematic integrator. So these are those things that we have to be cognizant of. And I always tell everybody that you have to be very intentional and you have to understand exactly who or what you're looking for, and then be very intentional when you're going to try to find somebody to put into your business. So the traits of the systematic integrator is going to be somebody that's very technical skilled. They're going to understand systems, software, automations, data systems. They're also going to be very, very good at problem solving, especially behind the scenes. The key strengths that this person ends up bringing to your business is being able to build the scalable workflows and automations. They also are there to ensure that all of your tools and everything on that level is running smoothly. Now, the weakness with this type of integrator is that they're going to lack some of the more strategic abilities, but they're also, for the most part, they're going to lack some of the leadership capabilities. So if you were to speak to a systematic integrator and want to put them in your business and expect them to be able to fully put together a team and run a team, you're not necessarily looking for the right type of integrator. You need to split that out to two. And then you need to make sure that you have an operational and a systematical if you want to hit both of those fronts. So a little bit of a final thought is the integration portion of the business is very, very important. Some may even say it's a little bit more important than the visionary side of it, but they do go hand in hand. Again, like a business, when it really comes down to the core of it, you can have as many ideas as you want, but that's all they are at the end until you implement any sort of integration within your business. At the bottom, I ended up actually putting a couple stars around this because I hit on this every single time I do have a conversation, or if I ever ask anybody to go post anything, or I tell somebody to go post something when they say that they're asking for something, is you want to make sure that you understand who or what you are looking for. And you need to be very, very intentional when you put that post out or when you start that conversation.